Imagine this. You're 400 feet below the ocean surface. No windows, no sunlight, no fresh air. The only thing between you and the crushing pressure of the Atlantic Ocean is a steel hull thinner than your smartphone. You'll live here for the next 90 days. You'll sleep in a coffin-sized bunk stacked 3 high. You'll eat freeze-dried food. You'll shower once every 3 days for 90 seconds. And you'll do it all while operating one of the most lethal weapons systems ever created. This is the reality for female submarine sailors in the United States Navy. And their story has never been fully told. For nearly a century, submarines were the last frontier closed to women in the U.S. military. The reasoning? Space, privacy, tradition. But in 2010, the policy changed. The Pentagon announced that women would be allowed to serve aboard submarines, first as officers, then as enlisted sailors. By 2012, the first female officers reported to the ballistic missile submarine USS Wyoming. By 2016, enlisted women joined the crew of the USS Michigan. Today, hundreds of women serve aboard Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines, Virginia-class attack subs, and guided missile submarines, some of the most advanced and secretive platforms in the world. But what does their life actually look like? How do they eat, sleep, stay sane? Let's go inside. Deployment begins with what submariners call the dive. The hatches seal, the boat submerges, and just like that, you're cut off from the world. No cell phones, no internet, no contact with family except for rare, heavily censored emails called familygrams, 40 words or less. For the first 48 hours, the crew adapts to the rhythm of the boat, the hum of the nuclear reactor, the constant vibration, the smell, a mix of diesel, amine, and recycled air. Female sailors describe it as sensory overload, then sensory deprivation. You're surrounded by 130 crew members in a space smaller than a commercial airplane. But you've never felt more alone. Sleep on a submarine is a luxury you earn in 6-hour shifts. Most submarines operate on an 18-hour day, 6 hours on watch, 6 hours off, 6 hours for maintenance, training, and meals. But off doesn't mean rest. Female sailors sleep in what's called berthing, racks stacked 3 high, each about the size of a coffin. You have 18 inches of vertical space, a curtain for privacy, a reading light, that's it. And here's the catch, there aren't enough beds for everyone. So the Navy uses a system called hot racking. When you finish your shift, you climb into a rack that someone just left. The sheets are still warm, hence the name. For women, this was initially a challenge. Early female officers were given separate berthing, but enlisted women? They share spaces with the rest of the crew, divided only by curtains and respect for professional boundaries. One female submariner put it this way, you learn to sleep anywhere. During drills, during alarms, in the middle of chaos. Because when you get the chance, you take it. On a submarine, food is everything. It's the only thing that changes, the only luxury, the only break in the monotony. For the first 2 weeks, the menu is fresh, real vegetables, fruit, milk, eggs. But submarines don't have enough refrigeration for 90 days of fresh food. So by week 3, you're eating freeze-dried, canned, and packaged meals. Powdered milk, powdered eggs, midrats, midnight rations become the highlight of the day. The galley is tiny, for cooks feed 130 people. Meals are served in shifts in the crew's mess, a room barely big enough for 20 people. But here's the thing, submarine food is actually good. The Navy knows morale depends on it, so submarine cooks are trained at the top culinary schools. They bake fresh bread daily. They make cakes for birthdays. On Sundays, there's surf and turf, steak and lobster. For female sailors, meals are also one of the few times they can socialize outside their watch stations. You bond over terrible coffee and surprisingly good pie, one female petty officer said. It's the closest thing to normal life you get down there. Let's talk about something no one wants to discuss, hygiene. On a submarine, fresh water is precious. It's made by the boat's desalination system, but it's also used for the nuclear reactor, so it's rationed. That means showers are limited. Most submariners shower every 2 to 3 days, and when they do, they get 90 seconds. Turn on the water, get wet, turn it off, soap up, turn it back on, rinse, done. Female sailors follow the same rules, no exceptions. Laundry is done once a week in industrial washers, but there's only one machine for the entire crew. So you wait your turn. And yes, everyone's uniforms start to smell by week 6. It's not glamorous, it's not comfortable, but it's part of the job. One female sailor laughed it off. You stop caring what you look like. You stop caring what you smell like. You just focus on the mission. But make no mistake, this isn't a survival challenge. These women aren't here to prove anything. They're here because they're the best at what they do. Some are sonar technicians, listening for enemy submarines in the deep. Some are nuclear engineers, managing a reactor that powers a city-sized vessel. Some are weapons officers, responsible for Tomahawk cruise missiles and Mark 48 torpedoes. And some serve on ballistic missile submarines, boomers, that carry Trident II nuclear missiles. These boats are the backbone of America's nuclear deterrent. If ordered, they could end civilizations. The stakes are absolute. And gender? It doesn't matter. Underwater, there's no room for bias, one female chief said. If the boat floods, we all drown together. If the reactor fails, we all die together. You trust the person next to you, not because of what they are, but because of what they can do. That trust is earned through months of training, through sleepless nights running drills, through emergency scenarios where seconds matter. And when the alarms sound, when the boat goes to battle stations, there's no hesitation. Just professionals doing their job. After 90 days, the submarine surfaces, the hatches open, and for the first time in 3 months, sunlight. For many, it's overwhelming. Some cry, some laugh, some just stand there, breathing fresh air. The psychological toll of submarine duty is real. You've lived an artificial light. You've had no privacy. You've been isolated from everyone you love. Studies show that submariners experience sleep deprivation, vitamin D deficiency, and heightened stress. But they also develop something rare, unbreakable bond. Female submariners describe their crew as family. You see people at their worst, one sailor said, and you still have their back. Since women were integrated into the submarine force, the results have been clear. No decline in performance, no disruption to operations, no compromises in readiness. In fact, the Navy reports that mixed-gender crews often perform better, with improved communication, higher morale, and stronger team cohesion. Today, over 1,000 women have qualified in submarines. They've earned their dolphins, the badge that marks them as true submariners. And they've proven what many already knew, that courage, skill, and dedication have no gender. The ocean is unforgiving. It doesn't care about policy. It doesn't care about history. It only cares about competence. And the women who serve aboard America's submarines have proven they belong in the depths, not because the rules changed, but because they earned it. They eat the same food. They sleep in the same racks. They face the same dangers. And when the mission calls, they answer. 90 days underwater. No sunlight, no privacy, no comfort, just duty, just honor, just service. This is the untold reality of female submariners. And their story is just beginning. Audio.